Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show today. My name is Spencer Walsh. On the show, we are talking about a little interesting exchange between Nancy Pelosi and William Barr at the Capitol today. Not the most pleasant of possible exchanges between the leader of the opposition and the Attorney General. Also talking about the most restrictive new total abortion ban into law. We gave the facts on that. Bush advisor roasts Donald Trump. Update on PG&E lines, and Bill de Blasio, he's going to announce his run for the presidency. Jesus. Okay, yeah, that's our show for today, but we're going to start, of course, first with the Attorney General, William Barr. He jokingly asked Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, if she brought her handcuffs while on Capitol Hill Wednesday. Madam Speaker, did you bring her handcuffs? Barr asked Pelosi while at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service, according to reports. New York Times reported that Pelosi smiled at the question and told Barr that the House Sergeant of Arms was around if an arrest was needed. Barr reportedly laughed and walked away. This comes just as, again, after the House Judiciary Committee voted last week to hold Barr in contempt for not handing over the special counsel Robert Mueller's full unredacted report. And the truth is, they might need to bring out those handcuffs sooner or later, because this is, like, what he's doing here, like, making no, I mean, I know they wanted to, like, treat it like it's nothing, but, like, this is literally against the law. Like, you're not allowed to do this. Like, you cannot be resisting subpoenas. You cannot be dodging investigation. You cannot be refusing to comply with document requests. That's just not how this isn't how this system that we call America works. There's a system of checks and balances. There's a system of like the way oversight is conducted from one party to another. And Republicans have used that in the past. Democrats have they've complained, but they've always complied. Hillary Clinton sat for an 11-hour testimony for the Benghazi hearing, which was one of the stupidest investigations known to human history. So, like, literally, I think a lot of Republicans could probably get you to agree with that statement. So, it's just the fact that, like, this is, again, it's unprecedented because there has been investigations that are politically motivated in the past. I don't think this one is. I think this is, again, it's a jumping off point of a very legitimate investigation, something that the person who created the investigation, who completed the investigation, obviously wanted Congress to determine, and they're doing their best to do that, but they're being stopped at every turn by so-called pro-transparency Republicans who wanted Hillary Clinton to sit again for 11 hours for Benghazi, but now refuse to provide any sort of documents, any sort of hearing stuff. Like, this is ridiculous to a whole new level. Like, this is, again, there has never been anything like this. Like, people forget this, and I've said this a few times before here on the show, just to remind people, again, this is not okay what these people are doing right now. You can't have people, again, resisting subpoenas, just basically flouting any sort of oversight. And I think there's, again, no question that we've seen Barr prove himself unequivocally as someone who's going to be loyal to Trump. That's why he was put there in the first place. And you were honestly pretty much a fool if you ever thought he was going to be otherwise, because that's why he was put there. And they were not going to make a mistake on that. They already, quote unquote, made a mistake with getting Ron Rosenstein in that situation, putting Jeff Sessions in that situation. They're gone now. And a lot of those people, especially the people around Donald Trump, they're not going to make that mistake again. They have learned their lesson on that front. So that's why Bill Barr is there. Like, and honestly, this from our own Glenn Bradford of SWRN. Tonight, Democrats are seriously considering bringing back inherent contempt for those who ignore congressional subpoenas, which allow Sergeant-at-Arms to arrest an offender and put him in a cell in the Capitol building. So imagine William Barr put in a cell in the Capitol building for refusing to contest or for contesting a subpoena. Like, that is something that would scare people, because drastic actions take drastic measures. Like, this is just it's blatantly illegal, and they're getting away with it because. And they're almost really winning the battle of public opinion over it, because no one likes to see this kind of investigation. Like, we just had a huge investigation over it. No one really wants to delve back deep into it. But the fact is, it's insane, absolutely insane, what they're being able to pull off here, or what they're trying to pull off here, because it's never been done before. It never really should be done, and it is. It's frankly pretty crazy. House Democrats said they wouldn't take Barr's contempt vote to the full House this month, saying, quote, "I don't think we're going to jail the people and put them in the basement," Steny Hoyer reportedly said. when asked if he'd support fining or jailing Barr. I mean, I'm jailing maybe a little bit too extreme for, again, refusing to provide documents, but fining him, putting a fine on the Department of Justice, like starting some sort of serious punishment against this, just to get them to just actually take this seriously, because it's an investigation, it's a valid investigation, and we're just going to have too many investigations. They're going to be all being more and more politically motivated, and it's just going to fall off the rails. So yeah, let's hope we figure that out a little bit and get a better sense of who we should be investigating here. Let's hope. All right, so yeah, guys, that abortion bill we talked about in Alabama, it's the law now. And unfortunately, judging on the girls on my Instagram story, they're just finding out about it now before it was a law. People are really just after, by the way, it came a law. Ivey has signed this near total abortion ban bill into law. Let's get the facts on that. In Alabama, she did it in Wednesday, outlining abortions throughout all stages of pregnancy. The law makes performing the procedure a felony and does not allow exceptions for cases of rape and incest. Today, I signed into law the Alabama Human Life Protection Act, a bill that was approved by overwhelming majorities in both chambers of the legislature. Yeah, overwhelming majorities of men, because your state doesn't feel the need to elect anyone with a different voice other than a white male. So, I mean, I don't blame it entirely on the people of the state, but to the bill's many supporters, the legislation stands as a powerful testimony to Alabama's deeply held belief that every life is precious and every life is a sacred gift from God. Ivey said in a release, adding that she personally disagreed with the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision in 1973. The sponsors of this bill believe that it is time once again for the U.S. Supreme Court to revisit this important matter. A big alarm bells. They could really go after this thing. They could push this to the edge on abortion. This is a huge deal. Like, this is definitely gonna be sued by people like Planned Parenthood, people like the ACLU. They're saying that this is not okay, and it really because this is going to get, for people in Alabama, people like Alabama, Ivey, as much as she likes to think that all Alabamians are doing great, like, she's not doing a very good job in Alabama. Like, for example, Alabama, out of all U.S. states and territories, that's 56 territories in total. That includes like UVI, Guam, Puerto Rico, Northern Mariana Islands, American Samoa. So that's 56 altogether. Alabama is 48th, 19.2% poverty rate. So the thing is, like, people in her state, they're not doing that well. They don't have the resources to travel in another state if they need abortion. So that means, like abortions, like, folks, they're not going to stop just because they're illegal now. Like, you do get that. Like, every single piece of evidence shows that abortions here, they're not going to stop because they're illegal now. The thing is, they're going to happen in back alleys. They're going to people are going to just throw them, like, they're going to do all sorts of just awful home remedies that they're going to just force them to try this thing, and that's what's happening right now. Like, the people in Alabama, they're not going to be able to really work through that. People in poverty by household income in thousands here in Alabama is let's see. In a 48 state, 905,000 people live below the poverty line. People in poverty. This is again around, I think, 2014. So it's a really rough situation right there. Like, it's like right up there with, like, Louisiana, like all these areas that are passing these bills. Like, you got Georgia right next to it. Not much better off. These places are going to be filled. Georgia's 44th. They're going to be filled with all these kind of problems. They're going to be filled with people going to the back alleys, doing this the wrong way, doing this in a way that should not be done, and it's going to be very, very disturbing once we start to see that this comes through, because these are like this is a very dangerous procedure. This needs to be done right, and it's for the health of the women. Like, if you don't want to do it, then that's perfectly up to you. But at least, can we please just say that there needs to be some sort of there needs to be some sort of legal option that works for these people, so they don't have to just go risk their lives to get rid of this baby because they just can't handle it. It's really rough. Yeah, so that is all very disturbing here. Pretty much now, women will not be able to get a safe legal abortion in Alabama unless they're dying. Now that state lawmakers have passed a law banning the procedure, doctors who perform abortions could be jailed from 10 to 99 years in prison. The Alabama Senate fought over including a provision that allows abortion in cases of rape or incest. It was not approved during that second hearing that they had that we played for you on Newsflash recently. The law especially harms poor women, again, which there are a lot of, especially poor women of color in Alabama. Democrats and abortion advocates fear the law will drive abortion underground, endangering the lives of women. Like, that's going to happen. And that's going to be a big problem for Alabama. They're directly hurting their most poorest people, which makes it so bad. It makes it so bad. And it just, this bill stabs, it makes this bill just hurt so much more. Yeah, we want abortions to be safe. We want them to be few, but they should be legal, and because there will be abortions. Like, there will be abortions, said Senator Linda Coleman Madison. She's one of the 4 women in Alabama's 35-member Senate. The people who have the wherewithal will fly out of state. Not everyone can afford to do that. Again, as we talked about, Alabama, not the best off state. Like, not many people are going to be able to fly up to, say, like, the nearest, like, go to, I don't know, Florida. They have slightly looser abortion laws. I mean, down south, so you're going to have to fly a little bit away. But if you want to go to, like, New York or something like that with a looser abortion laws, like, that is not going to be an option for a lot of people. And the people who are probably more likely to get, like, in targets, like, they're most likely to be targeted with unwanted pregnancies, people who don't have enough resources, people who are hang around sketchy people a little bit more, like, they are going to be the most unlikely to be able to fly out of town. Like, that's why this bill is an extra little twist in the gut of the poor middle class of Alabama, especially the women of color in that state. Alabama Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth is backing the bill without rape or incest exemptions. And supporters here, this is the key part here, supporters are hoping the bill would challenge Roe v. Wade. This is what they've been trying to do for years. This is why they were celebrating so much when they put Brett Kavanaugh on the court. This reason exactly. Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned. This is going to be the thing that's going to do it. And there's going to be, if it's not going to be overturned, there's going to be a lot of pressure put on these Supreme Court justices by a lot of powerful people to come in and overturn this. We heard some talk about, maybe they want to just do it quickly by just kind of doing this in chipping it away little by little. But there's going to be a lot of Roe v. Wade, something they've been pushing for since 1974. Like, they've been like, let's get rid of Roe v. Wade, let's get rid of it. But they have failed to do so thus far. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to do so. So it's going to be interesting to see how they follow up on that. Yeah, so that's going to be a story we're going to watch on here for the Spencer Walsh Radio Network and on Newsflash this weekend. We'll see what happens with that. But now we turn to a little more interesting story. Larry Lindsey, former George W. Bush National Economic Council Director, said President Trump has the decision-making ability of an empty chair. Politico reports that Lindsey made the comments on Tuesday while speaking to the elected House GOP leadership and top committee Republicans on the U.S. economic relationship with China. Lindsey reportedly said that that the president has no long-term plans or ability to think ahead. I mean, it's not false. Former Republican White House advisors also said China views Trump as a 10 out of 10 narcissist, and attributed this characteristic to the president's upbringing. Says his mother didn't give enough attention as a child, according to people present. Despite choice words, Lindsey still supportedly supports Trump's plan for China. So I don't really know how you square that, but saying, yeah, he's adding that his lack of long-term decision-making ability and narcissism are actually assets when dealing with China. Last week, President Trump raised the import tax on Chinese goods from 10 to 25%, and China obviously responded by raising tariffs on American imports. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how he's able to follow through on that trade fight. Yeah, so yeah, that's quite a choice word. So, I mean, decision-making of an empty chair, according to George Bush's economic advisor. Well, your guy didn't have much better. I would be talking. You're George Bush is the guy. He helped lead us into 2008, buddy. So I'll be talking too spicy there. All right. So the California Department of Forestry and Fire Prevention has officially determined that the PG&E power lines caused the deadliest and most destructive fire in state history. In a release, the agency said it determined the campfire was caused by electrical transmission lines owned by Pacific